There are a million articles out there right now about good form design. And they're all excellent, okay? Most of the stuff I read about how to design a great form is very solid. But the thing that they never mention in a lot of cases is how harmony and direction works to pull that off. I want to illustrate that for you. The first thing is that these fields are the same width. And if you go across both, if you combine the width of those two top fields, they are the same as those longer fields below. That's harmony. Even though those first two fields are different lengths than the ones below it, their combined width is the same. Again, that's harmony. That matters. The submit button, the width of that, is what we call a purposeful anomaly. It's different than everything else. It's a totally different width than everything else. And that's what an anomaly is, by the way, in case you're not familiar with that term. It means something that breaks the pattern, that is completely different than everything else. Okay, so the fact that that width is shorter is important. And I'm going to call this out because I see a lot of forms where the action button, the interactive component, the thing you're supposed to click on or tap on after the form, is often the same width as the fields. That actually decreases usability. It actually provides a poorer user experience because the visual cue that says, here's what you act on, is not nearly as clear as it is when the interactive component is treated very differently than the input that exists above it. That anomaly is important. That difference is important. I also want you to notice that the height of these fields is the same, and the height of the button is the same as the fields as well. So even though this is an anomaly, we also retain some little element of consistency to tie it together. That similarity in height between the button and the fields is enough to say this goes with this. You'll also notice that the vertical distance between the fields is consistent, but it changes again when you get to the submit button. And even though that change happens, there's harmony in that change as well, because you'll see it repeated. If you go up to the first two fields, the horizontal distance between those two fields is the same as the distance between the last field and the submit button. That consistency is important. So if you use a gap of a certain size, a gutter of a certain size, negative space, padding, whatever you want to call it, if you do it in one place, you should always be looking to echo it somewhere else. That's harmony. And again, as we said in the last section, there is also rhythm here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, the rhythm of the label in the field is repeated at consistent visual intervals. Those last three words are important. Consistent visual intervals, which is harmony. So the sum total of all this working together is that when you hit a page where this form exists, your eye does this. Across, down, across, down, across, down. All right, that's the pattern. That flow is established through balance, rhythm, and harmony. The fact that we are re-emphasizing style, shape, and alignment enable this flow. And by doing so, we allow people to get through the form really quickly, which makes it feel easy to use. So UI Design Mantra 8 is, good design is held together by harmony, by visual echoes, by the combination of balance, rhythm, and repetition. Those three things working together create harmony.